Okay, now that we've got the rocker arm finished, I can start paying attention to the cylinder head. Probably, I'm not sure whether this is ground face or whether it's meant to have a gasket. It looks to me as though it should be a gasket job, so we'll have to make one of them later. But first of all, let's get the valves out. Everything looks in very good condition in the head. There's not much carb in there. Somebody's obviously cleaned it up, you know. They must have thought they'd start some work. But let's see what we get when we take the. Well, that's the inlet valve removed. As you can see, there's no pitting on the seats. It looks to be in really good condition, that cylinder head, on that side anyway. And if I show you the valve itself, no burning of the seats. That'll just take a little bit of grinding in. Also a nice thing there was still some grease on the stems, and they were a good fit in the guide, so it doesn't need new guides. Yeah, that exhaust the exhaust seat looks pretty clean. I've just wiped it there. I might run the dresser over it. I've got some little dressers there. But other than that, I think it'll be fine. No need for new guides, everything looks good. So the head is in excellent condition. Just grinding in the seats with some rough, or the exhaust valve seat with some rough grinding paste, or some coarse grinding paste. Hopefully this will be enough. Once this is done, just a quick coat and a quick going over with some fine, and it'll be a good job done. I usually use this method, pulling directly onto this. You can't pull too hard, so you tend to pull it straight, and you can get just enough grip around the chuck to turn it quite nicely. Much better than the old rubber sucker on a stick. I mean, I don't know who invented that, but it never ever. Okay, well, since the last little episode, the battery ran out on the camera, so I've recharged it. In the meantime, I finished the cylinder head, reground the valves. The exhaust valve seat, I recut that and then ground it in with coarse, and the inlet valve just needed a bit of a wipe with medium, and so they're both done now. The valves and springs are in good shape. Inlet valve is on the borderline guide wise, but it should be okay in service. It's an old bike that fits were always a little bit slacker than your more modern machinery. I've since painted the cylinders with some cylinder black, painted everything else including my shirt and my hands, but the next thing I want to do is to make a gasket, cylinder head gasket, so we'll go ahead with that. I've got some copper sheet here. I think I bought this specifically for gaskets. It's about 20 thou, 25 thou thick, thick enough for a gasket. It's been lying around the workshop for a long time, but anyway, we'll go and mark it out and then proceed to cut it. There we see the blank I cut out just using a pair of scissors. Measured the diameter, get the whole parts put in next, and then I'll cut the centre out, and then well, after about 15-20 minutes work with the Dremel, that's the gasket cut out. You can see it's quite wrinkled and lumpy, and that's part and parcel of the process of annealing. Will soften that up so it can flatten out on the surface. You can see it's a good fit on the top of the cylinder here. Shouldn't be any trouble locating it. It'll drop into the cylinder head when that's when I bring that back over. We'll try it out. I'll anneal it first. The process is just to heat it to red heat. You can either leave it to cool naturally in there, it'll still be soft, or you can drop it in water. Dropping it in water, or better still, a bucket of sulfuric acid takes all the scale off it and makes it a lovely pink colour, and it's really clean. I can go straight on, but I'll heat it up and drop it in the bucket, and then we'll take it out afterwards. Okay, sometimes it's very difficult to detect red heat in copper. You can see how the colours move around. When you see that sort of effect, you're probably at red heat in the copper, and it will be soft. And as you move away, it turns black. You can see a dull purple, sort of reddish heat there. It probably, it's going to even on top of the vice jaws. It's not too bad. You can see it's red there. I'll just keep moving the heat round. Of course, again, I've got oxyacetylene on propane equipment. You can see how soft this is turning the copper. The copper is actually drooping down the back of the vice here, which is great. That's what you want. You know, you've got to soften it up. So it acts as a gasket and not a solid piece of copper. Some gaskets you buy commercially are just cut from copper sheet, and they don't bother to anneal them, which I think is a disgrace. The unwary will just put them straight in the bike and wonder why they blow a head gasket in no time. Okay, well, I'm going to quench this, so I'll have to go back to two-handed operation. So this is a gasket after annealing. What I'm going to do is just gently push down any raised parts to make it nice and flat, so that when it goes on, it's not going to protrude at one side or the other, and it just looks better when it's done. So I'll do that. Yeah, I'll try again. Yeah, this is the gasket after it's been flattened. To flatten it, I just put it on this little block of aluminium and put another block on top and just tapped it down with this hammer. It's only a £1/2 hammer, and just kept moving it around 2 or 3 times, and as you can see, it's nice and flat. It sits flat on there, and that'll be great when it's in the engine. You could lightly clean it with some wet or dry or emery, but it needn't be coarse. In fact, very fine. If you wanted to do it, I think it would be a bit ridiculous. I may put a tiny bit of gasket compound on it, just a tiny smear. I don't believe in using too much, but just in case there are any scratches on there, it'll fill up any scratches without actually, you know, acting as a seal. The gasket will do the work. But we'll see how it looks. Well, there you go, Fergus, there's your engine with the cylinder head on. I've got to tighten the nuts up and obviously put the rockers on, the rocker box, but there'll be a bit of adjustment to do there to get the tappets set correctly and so on, and adjust for the difference in heights of the rocker arms, etc., with making that new one. But it's come on quite well. Well, this is the engine built up with the, as you can see there, I've got the head on, push rod tubes in, a couple of seals on the top of the push rods. I'm going to drop the rocker box on. It's quite apparent to me that it's going to need a lot of packing or adjustment to get the as you can see there, it's sitting quite low compared to everything else. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I don't think I've missed anything out. In fact, I know I haven't. I think they must have to have some kind of spacers underneath to adjust for height. But having said that, yeah, I think that's about right. We'll see. I will play around with it and we'll... Well, there we are. That's the rocker box on. For the doubters amongst us, that's the exhaust without any adjustment. That's fitting beautifully, and it's identical to the inlet in terms of the tappet is fully up, and as is that one. So I must have guessed everything correctly when I made that rocker arm, the exhaust rocker arm. I'm just going to pop the outer cover on to see if the valve lift out. Well, that's the engine finished. Just about, Fergus, one or two little bits and pieces to do. I've had to adjust the valve lifter. It wasn't quite right, but I'm pretty sure it'll work now once the engine's running. Other than that, really went together really well. Obviously the tappets have got to be adjusted and the timing set when I get the magneto, but it's just about finished and it's looking good. Oh, and I've also got to put your Sunbeam badge back on, but that won't take long. And that's about it.